Hey, alright everybody, how's it going? Now, I got a story by here in front of me, and it's about EV depreciation, and it's not as bad as people would make it out to be. Now, here's the funny thing, right? Now, I know I talk about the anti-EV mob quite a lot, because I think it's quite relevant to talk about them and the things they say. So they say that EVs, the value drops like a stone, okay? The depreciation is massive and they're worth nothing, okay? But then the anti-EVer will also say an EV is too expensive for me to buy. Okay, so they'll tell you that the price will drop like a stone and they're worth nothing, but they're also too expensive for them to buy. And that'll come from the same person. The same anti-EVer will say that. They'll also say things like, an EV is too quiet. They're so quiet that people will get knocked over. And they'll also say that an EV will cause a lot of noise if you build EV charging stations next to houses. So they're always contradicting themselves constantly, all the time. So somehow they can be too quiet and too loud, and they can be too expensive and too cheap. All living in the same bubble. Anyway, let's get back to the story. That's my little rant out of the way. There might be a rant a little bit later on. If you hold on, there might be a rant at the end. I don't know. Sometimes these videos go a little bit funny. So if I scroll down by here, okay, and in big bold letters, it says by here, and this is what it says. It says EVs and hybrids depreciate slower per mile. Now, I can hear the keyboards going already. I can hear them clicking, or people pressing their phone extremely hard. So calm down, you anti-EV types, and let me finish the rest of the story. Then you can tell me that I'm talking a load of rubbish, because you always say I'm talking rubbish, even though I'm just stating data that is, been checked. It's from Carwow. You go through there and buy and sell cars, and they get prices off your cars and whatnot. So this is from Carwow mainly. Right, so EVs and hybrids depreciate slower per mile. Now, I gotta make a stipulation by here. That headline means after the first 12 months. So for the first 12 months, an EV will depreciate quicker. After the first 12 months, it won't. So let me read the article. I thought I'd put that there first, just to get that out of the way. One surprising finding from the study is that petrol cars are losing value the fastest, while electric vehicles are bucking the trend. By 30,000 miles, the average petrol car has lost 38% of its value, while EVs have dropped 26%, according to the report. Remember, this is after the first 12 months or the first 10,000 miles. So that's after a certain point. After a certain point, petrol cars depreciate quicker than electric cars. Ooh, I bet you didn't like that, did you? I bet you don't like it. And hybrids perform even better. EV brands like Tesla and Polestar are proven to be strong long-term performers, offering some of the lowest depreciation rates in the market. Carwow claimed they have the data. An exclusive report by This Is Money, in association with the valuations expert at CAP HBI, last year showed that EVs typically shared the majority of their residual value in the first year or after 10,000 miles. Thereafter, depreciation is similar to that of a combustion engine alternative. In all the cases we examined, pitching an EV to its closest combustion equivalent from the same brand, the battery's model's value had fallen below that of a year-old petrol hybrid alternative, despite the latter having a higher price. Thereafter, the year-on-year depreciation is generally at the same rate, meaning EVs will match their combustion counterparts and won't continue to dramatically fall in price over the following years. With the vast majority of new EV registrations being fleet purchases, many of which are private buyers utilising salary sacrifice schemes through their employees, it means that there are very, very few who will suffer the first year depreciation seen here. By the time fleet contracts end and these models enter the used market, second-hand car buyers can ultimately get better value for money by opting for an EV, granted they have provisions to charge one at home. So there you go then, EVs, the depreciation isn't as bad as they say, is it? Now, like I said earlier on in the video, they will say EVs cost too much, I can't afford an EV, but they'll also say the depreciation is massive and they're worth nothing second hand. So how can I just don't understand. I don't understand the mentality of these people. I don't get it. I don't understand it. Now, I was talking to Terry again, and he was trying to claim that he's not an anti-EVer, but he keeps commenting negative comments and reasons why he wouldn't have an EV. He never says anything pro about an EV, so he is anti. He's against them because he keeps saying, I don't want them for this reason, that reason. So I called him an anti-EVer, and he got a bit, he tried to sort of say, no, I'm not an anti-EVer. I just don't like them because... so he's against them. So you got anti-EVers trying to claim they're not anti-EVers, which doesn't make any sense. If you're making negative comments about something, then you're not for it. You're not pro-EV if you constantly make negative comments constantly, if that makes any sense. Does that make any sense? So he was trying to argue he wasn't an anti-EVer. So I said, tell me what you like about EVs then, if you're not anti-EV. And I think he said something like, they handle well because the weight is down low, and there was something else, can't quite remember what the other thing was. And I said, well, what about the instant torque? And he said, I'm not a boy racer, why do I need instant torque? Well, instant torque isn't about being a boy racer. Instant torque is maybe want to get away quickly at a roundabout, not in a boy racer style, just get out quickly. Or if you want to go up a hill, or if you want to overtake somebody. It doesn't have to be a boy racer thing, it's just the instant torque is there. So it just makes driving that little bit nicer. So even when I say something that's positive about an EV, he will say, I don't need that, it's a load of rubbish. I said to him, what about if you want to, I said you can warm the cabin in your EV, defrost it before you get in the car, and it's lovely and toasty and warm. He said, I'll wear a coat. I don't need that, I'll wear a coat. So you can't win, can you? Now, he even went back into some of my videos and said, I saw you driving a car and you was wearing a coat. And he said, I bet you was trying to save your range. And I did tell him, and I'll tell you now, I never drive in eco mode, ever, never ever. I never drive in eco mode. I always drive in normal mode, and I always have the heating set right up at maximum, as hot as it can be in the winter. I have the heated seat on and the heated steering wheel, and I have a coat on. Because obviously when I come out of the house and into the car, it's cold, and when I stop the car and get out of the car, it's going to be cold, and that's the reason why I got a coat on. But I like my car to be toasty and warm, and I never ever sacrifice range, which wouldn't be that much anyway. In my particular case is a Kona EV. It's got a heat pump on it, and the amount of range I lose is nothing. It's hardly anything at all. So no, I keep my heating on full blast. I got an auto on full blast, but when the car gets to a certain temperature, it cools down itself, and it'll go off and on then on its own. So even though I got it hot, it will cool down, and then the sort of the display adjusts itself once the car gets warm. Anyway, that wasn't the point of the video. The point of the video was that EVs don't depreciate as much as the people who are against EVs say. So there we go. That's another thing to put to bed. If you did like this video, don't forget to give it a like, subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Ahoy!